all I'm going to do is tell us your name loudly too.
Do you want maiden name?
Maiden name and your current name.
Cindy Kling, and my married name is Malkowski.
All right, Cindy, how are you related to Rudy Kling?
Rudy Kling is my uncle.
And that's your dad's brother? How does that work?
My father owned the garage where the plane was built out on Route 66.
Really?
Yes.
And so how many kids did Rudy Kling actually have? One.
Son.
And how does it relate back to your family?
Well, my dad and Rudy Kling were a year apart.
Really?
So, and Rudy, of course, was killed in 1937, but the highlight was that in September 11th, he had won this huge race out in Ohio and actually won $9,000 in 1937, so he was like the king of everything. And then December 10th, he was killed racing his plane in Miami.
Oh.
And they brought his body back, and he was waked in my grandma's house in the living room, because that's what they used to do, and he's buried right here in the lab.
Wow. Now, your father, I had read some of the stuff about now he was the other brother. There was only the two brothers?
Oh, there's 11 kids.
There's 11 kids.
No, there was lots of brothers.
And which was the one that worked with him most closely?
Fred, my dad.
Your dad. Okay,
Grandma
so.
called him Fritz.
And so what I had read about him was that they too, like you said, it was his garage, but he went with them all over the place?
He had 5 kids, so he didn't get to go everywhere with them. Uncle Tom went, I think, a little bit more, which is Arnold. His real name was Arnold, but we all called him Tommy. Tommy was the oldest brother.
Right.
But Tommy was a machinist too, so I think, and he didn't have as many kids, so I think he had more time to go with Rudy than my dad did.
Now, what was your dad's favorite memory of Rudy? Do you remember?
I think just working on these engines, because they were machinists. And they got this certain engine, and then they redesigned it. And I got a poster coming that I just ordered online that shows that it weighed like 50 pounds or something, which is why they were able to get speeds over 200 miles an hour.
Really?
It was one of the first to be able to do that. So that the engine was their big thing, because they were machinists.
Well, that's great.
Farmers and slash machinists.
And in talking to your dad about, did you have conversations with your dad about Rudy?
Yeah, my dad died when I was pretty young. I was 16 when my dad died. So,
sorry.
but he used to. I mean, the whole family. That's all we talked about was Rudy. He was the famous one.
Okay, you were saying about him being the famous one?
As a kid, you heard all these stories about Rudy Kling, but you never realized what impact he had. Because as a kid, you really don't pay. It's an uncle. It's his uncle. He's, no big deal. Then you start hearing, like Lewis University has a huge monument for him. He was honored at the Oshkosh Air Show one year. And I had heard, and I don't know if it's true, that there was supposed to be a replica of his plane at the Smithsonian.
Really? Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, but I've never been out there to see it. But, these are things you hear, and you don't know if some of the stuff pans out or if it doesn't, but a lot of it has, So, but unfortunately, like I said, his wife and son moved to Arizona, and as far as I know, both of them are deceased.
Did the son ever have children?
I was just looking in a family tree thing this morning before I came down here, and it looks like there could be a couple of grandkids, so I'm going to see what I can find out.
So, could you tell us, what does a mural like this honoring Rudy Kling mean to you, your family, and Lemont?
It's exciting. I mean, it's very exciting, and it's nice to see that somebody who's from town for their whole life is being honored. Usually some of the locals, the regulars, get kind of lost in the shuffle, and he's been gone for so long, especially the fact that his family's not even around here. His wife or his children, or, I think it's exciting. And my dad would love it.
And so he has a box of stuff?
Because first time I went in there and he found out I was a Kling, when are you going to be back? And he brought this stuff out and showed it all to me. So he's got a lot of stuff from Rudy.
Oh, that's great.
Because they had the bar right around the corner from Canal Street where they started building the plane. So the whole town, I think, was involved.
All right. Thank you.